Sports has taught us until playoff time, the games don't mean much, and that's backed by every major American sport's best regular season team not winning a championship. It's clear that if you don't obtain the jewelry, nobody remembers you. And what about players who seemingly don't show up when it matters the most? Here are 5 players that were great in the regular season, but in the postseason, coming up right after this. Number 5, Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw's 2013 and 2014 regular seasons were absolutely ridiculous. In his 2013 Cy Young winning campaign, he won 16 games and posted an absurd ERA of 1.83, led the league in Ks with 232, and in general was as unhittable as a gnat flying in your face. After his first postseason win over the Braves and a strong Game 2 outing in the NLCS that ended with a loss in Game 6 of the series, Kershaw got pawed like a Kardashian in an NBA locker room, going only 4 innings and getting rocked to the tune of 10 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, and only 5 Ks. The next year in 2014, Kershaw was even more dominant in the regular season with 21 wins against only 3 losses and an ERA of 1.77, which was smaller than Donald Trump's hands. He won the Cy Young and the MVP award, and the Dodgers were heavily favored to ride his big left arm to a world title. Except in the NLDS against his nemesis, the Cardinals, Kersh was hardly dominant in giving up 8 runs in 6.2 innings in a Game 1 loss. With the season on the line in Game 4, Kershaw pitched 6 innings, giving up 3 runs on 1 swing, and the Dodgers lost 3-2. Kersh also got shelled in last year's World Series Game 5. Clayton Kershaw, baseball's box of chocolates.
You never know what you're going to get.
Number 4, Chris Webber. So we all know elite basketball players can have bad games. Heck, even King James had a pedestrian finals in 2011. But Chris Webber is one of those rare players where he statistically suffered drop-offs in nearly every major category from the regular season to the postseason. And no more was this evident than in 2000/2001, where Webber was solid in becoming the power forward he was supposed to become when he was the #1 overall draft pick coming out of Michigan in 1993. Webber averaged 27 points, 11 boards, and 4.2 assists per game, and the Kings looked to make waves in the playoffs. They dispatched the Suns in the first round and then got absolutely ramshackled by the Lakers in the conference semis, getting swept out of the building like dust bunnies on a hardwood floor. Webber had decent efforts in games 1 and 3, leading his team in points. However, in games 2 and 4, he only scored 22 and 21 points respectively, and in the finale only shot 8 for 25 from the field. Of course, the following year he was robbed of a trip to the finals by David Stern. And nobody could see Webber not being a performer in the clutch coming at all, could they? Number 3, Jose Theodore. Jose Theodore is the ultimate example of a Tasmanian devil in net. Whirl your ass in, fuck shit up, whirl your ass out. And in the 2001-2002 season, Theodore came out of nowhere to lead the Habs to a respectable regular season, one which was only his second full-time in net at that point in his career. In 67 games, he notched 30 wins, held opponents to 2.11 goals against, and had a .931 save percentage and won the Vezina Trophy and the Hart Trophy for MVP. The Habs entered the playoffs as the 8th seed and did upset the top-seeded Bruins in the first round. However, Theodore's glass slipper quickly burst, as in the next round, the Habs were defeated by the Canes. First by them blowing a 3-goal lead in Game 4, and in Game 5, Theodore let 5 past him, and in Game 6, he let in 5 more before being pulled in the second period as the Habs lost the series 4-2. Theodore never really recaptured the magic of the 2002 season and was an average goalie for most of his career. Taz is still pretty cool though. Number 2, Barry Bonds. They say cheaters never win. However, in Barry Bonds' case, cheating didn't matter because whether he looked like an Ethiopian kid who hasn't eaten in a decade or Thanos with a bat, Barry Bonds, for the majority of his career, sucked in the postseason. In 1990 and 1991, Bonds absolutely dominated baseball with slash lines of .301, .33, .114, and .292, .25, .116, while stealing a combined 95 bases over the 2 years. He was the league MVP in 1990, runner-up in 91, and won the award 2 years in a row after that. This guy didn't need to cheat during the season. He was great already. But in October, he was shit. His first playoffs in 1990, he batted a paltry 167 as the Bucks got ousted by the eventual champion Reds. In the 1991 LCS, he hit a limp 4 for 27 and batted 148 as the Braves upset the Bucks in 7 games. The next year, the Pirates again got ousted by the Braves, where this time his arm let him down on the last play of the game. Then Bonds decided to pump his veins full of battery acid and flaxseed oil to see if that would change things, but in 2000 he took a pitch he should have swung at. Back to the lab again, Barry, where in 2002 they pumped you so full of roids your back knee had its own muscles. And yes, Barry, you historically mashed that postseason and lost to the Angels in 7 games. Justice more poetic than fat Hugo Chavez dying of a massive heart attack. Cheaters don't win, and they don't get into the Hall of Fame either, but they will eventually. Number 1, Peyton Manning. Okay, so who's ready for a fight? I want to preface this entry by letting you know I love me some Peyton Manning. I think he's one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, and in particular in the regular season, as Manning put up gaudy stats that rival another QB that also kind of gets the same knock. And after Dr. Frankenstein successfully stitched his head back onto his neck, Peyton Manning threw up 3 consecutive years in Denver that we may never see again, the most eye-popping being in 2013, when he threw for 5,477 yards and an NFL record 55 touchdowns. Oh, but the postseason is a fickle bitch, especially to Peyton, who already had a roller coaster past with the Colts. In 2012, the Broncos lost in a terrible upset, and Manning was literally ice cold that game against the Ravens as he went 28 for 43, only threw for 290 yards, and threw 2 key picks. Of course, there was this play that wasn't his fault, and the grammar police should note I just used literally in the proper context. In 2013, Manning looked to shrug off his past as he exorcised the New England Demons and got back to the Super Bowl, where the Seahawks proceeded to beat on the Broncos like a dirty rug, and Manning only threw for 280 yards, 1 TD, 2 picks, and 1 terrible fumble loss. And in 2014, the team he left, the Colts, beat him, and despite a solid regular season, it looked as if Manning was going to go the way of the dinosaurs he kinda looks like, figuratively. The following year, Manning was pretty bad throughout both the regular season and somewhat in the playoffs, but you know, Von Miller saved his legacy. Hey, maybe sucking all the time is the way to victory. I think that's what I'm doing with my YouTube channel anyways. Well, thank you for watching this video. Download the FanDuel app from the link below and use my code BASEHIT10 and get a 20% bonus on your first deposit. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to the end of this video. And there is no postseason after this video. That's it.